Hello, my name is Sabrina Templo. Today is April 15, 2020, and this is week 6 for Bio 240 Anatomy and Physiology 2. Week 6 is about the digestive system. So for this week's video exercise, I will pretend that I just ate a cheeseburger, and I will explain what happens to the cheeseburger during the digestive process. I'll be using this diagram to help explain the digestive process. So the organs of digestion are part of two main groups. First is the gastrointestinal tract, or the alimentary canal, which is a long continuous tube approximately 30 feet or 9 meters in length. And it begins in the mouth and it ends in the anus. And the second group of organs consists of accessory structures, which include the teeth, the tongue, the salivary glands, the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. So the digestion of the cheeseburger begins in the mouth, and as the teeth tears it and chops up the food, the saliva moistens it, so it's easier to swallow. The digestive enzyme called amylase is found in the saliva, starts to break down some of the carbohydrates, which is the bun of my cheeseburger, and then before it leaves the mouth. So when you swallow it, the swallowing is accomplished by the muscle movements of the tongue and the mouth. It moves the food back into the throat or the pharynx. And the pharynx is a passageway for food and air. And there is a flexible flap of tissue called the epiglottis, which closes over the windpipe when we swallow to prevent us from choking. So from the throat, we have our chewed up cheeseburger. It travels down the muscular tube in the chest called esophagus, and the waves of the muscle contractions called peristalsis forces down the cheeseburger down the esophagus and down through the stomach. At the end of the esophagus, there is a muscular ring called the sphincter. Not sure you can see that, but the sphincter allows food to enter the stomach, and it squeezes to shut the food or fluid from flowing back up to the esophagus. So the stomach muscle turns and mixes up the food with acids and enzymes, breaking it down into much smaller or digestible pieces. And an acidic environment is needed for digestion to take place in the stomach. So the glands in the lining of the stomach produces about 3 quarts of digestive juices each day. So by the time the food is ready to leave the stomach, it has been processed into a thick liquid called chyme. And then there is a muscular tube at the end of the stomach called the pylorus. And when the chyme is ready to leave the stomach, which is when it reaches the right consistency, it will pass through the pylorus and it will pass down to the small intestine, where the digestion of food continues so the body can absorb nutrients into the bloodstream. So the small intestine is made up of 3 parts. The duodenum, which is the C shape or the first part, the jejunum, which is the midsection, and the ileum, which is the final section of the small intestine. The inner wall of the small intestine is covered with millions of microscopic finger-like projections called the villi. The villi are the vehicles through which the nutrients can be absorbed into the body. So the liver, which is located under the rib cage and on the right upper part of the abdomen, the gallbladder, and the pancreas beneath the stomach. They're not part of the alimentary canal, but these organs are important for healthy digestion. So the pancreas produces enzymes that help digest proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And the liver produces bile, which helps absorbs fat. And then the bile is stored in the gallbladder until it's needed. So these are the enzymes and the bile travel to special ducts directly to the small intestine, where they help break down the food. So from the small intestine, some of the food that has not been digestive and some water travels into the large intestine, and by the time the food reaches to the large intestine, the work of absorbing the nutrients is nearly finished, and the large intestine's main function is to remove water from the undigested matter and form solid waste that could be excreted. So the large intestine is made up of 3 parts. First is the cecum, and then you can see the appendix over here. The appendix is a small, hollow, finger-like pouch. And the colon, or the large intestine, extends from the cecum to the right side of the abdomen. The colon has 3 parts: the ascending colon, the transverse colon, and the descending colon. Okay, which holds the resulting waste. After the descending colon, it goes to the digestive food goes into the rectum, and then it goes to the anus as a bowel movement. And that concludes my video for week 6 Anatomy and Physiology Bio 240. Thank you.